Good afternoon, I'm Paris Tipton with Enid Marine Construction. We're primarily based out of Sneads Ferry. At the present time, we're running 5 crews. We got 4 barges on the water. We primarily do everything from seawalls, piers, docks, boat lift, covered boat houses, covered docks. We were contracted by the town of Holly Ridge to redo Morris Landing Pier and dock here, and do an addition on the end of it. It was primarily wood. We have switched from wood to a composite decking called shear step decking. We also incorporate a lot of Trex with it to give it a nice aesthetic look. We have come to find out that with the shear step decking, it's a composite decking. It's cool on your feet when you get it installed. It's installed with 3-inch stainless steel screws, and it also is very maintenance free when you use the Trex with it and everything. You don't have to worry about it. You can clean it up easy. But the big point about this is that when the storms come in, it lets the water come right up through it. It doesn't tear it off like it does the boards on a wooden pier or dock. So it's been a great seller for us. We primarily right now, about 100% of our projects are all shear step decking with Trex. You get a storm in for say 8, 9, 10 hours and you're sitting there with the waves constantly beating. So what that'll do is if you've got a wooden pier and dock, those waves hitting the boards, the water can't get through. So eventually it'll either tear the boards off or it'll lift the pilings right up out of the water. Now you've got all that floating around, but with this, it lets the water, so you lose about 80% of that buoyancy, what they call buoyancy. It lets the water come through. Another big thing about this, marine resources and all of them, coastal management, they also love this because it lets the light through. So when you're building out over the marsh, it'll let the light through so the vegetation will grow better, and also if you're on the water, for the light to go through for the fish. Well, mostly what you want to do is to make sure you're structurally sound. We have a rule with the company, all of our pilings, the embedment on our pilings is 8 foot deep. We use 2x8 girders with double bolted on all of our girders, galvanized 5/8 bolts. We use 2x6 stringers, and all of our decking is screwed down with 3-inch stainless steel screws. So structurally, you want to make sure that when you're building, you ask those questions on what they're doing. Well, we're not a big advocate, I'm not a big advocate of handrails, unless you really want them, unless you've got some elderly people in the family or something that necessarily need handrails, because what we found out over the years with the handrails is when we do have storms and debris does start floating around, it'll collect on your handrails, so try to avoid that. The other thing is the height of the dock going out or the pier going out. A lot of people want to get them up high. That's a mistake. You need to keep them low, because the higher you get, the more vulnerable you are in a storm when you get up that height. So there's a lot of things you need to look at when you're designing those.